In wartime, truth is so precious that she should always be attended by a bodyguard of lies. Winston Churchill. The Hook. What if the most successful intelligence operative in World War II was a man who never fired a gun, never spoke a word of code, and was already dead before his mission even began? In 1943, British intelligence pulled off one of the greatest deceptions in military history. Using a homeless man's corpse, a forged identity, and a briefcase full of fake secrets, they convinced Adolf Hitler to look left while they struck right, saving tens of thousands of Allied lives and shifting the tide of the war forever. Chapter 1. The Corpse Off the Coast of Spain. On the morning of April the 30th, 1943, a local sardine fisherman near the quiet coastal town of Huelva, Spain, spotted a dark object floating in the water. As he drifted closer, he realized it was a human body, wearing a British Royal Marines uniform and a life jacket. Tethered securely to the corpse's waist by a leather strap was an official-looking briefcase. Local Spanish authorities retrieved the body. Although Spain was officially neutral during World War II, its military hierarchy was crawling with Nazi spies. Within hours, German intelligence agents in Spain learned about the drowned officer and paid off local officials to inspect the contents of the briefcase. Inside, they found top-secret letters between high-ranking British generals. The documents clearly stated that the Allies were preparing a massive invasion of Greece and Sardinia, and that any rumors pointing to Sicily were merely a clever decoy. The intelligence was rushed straight to Berlin, landing directly on Adolf Hitler's desk. There was only one problem. The officer didn't exist, the invasion plans were fake, and the dead man was a homeless Welshman who had died in London months earlier. Chapter 2. The Masterminds and Major William Martin. Months earlier, in a cramped, airless room beneath the streets of London, two British intelligence officers, Ewan Montague and Charles Cholmondeley, were tasked with solving an impossible problem. By early 1943, the Allies had defeated Axis forces in North Africa. Their next logical step was to invade southern Europe. Geographically, the island of Sicily was the obvious stepping stone. Hitler knew this too. The Germans heavily fortified Sicily, knowing that if it fell, the Allies would have a direct gateway to Italy. The Allies knew a direct assault against a fully prepared Nazi force in Sicily would result in catastrophic casualties. To save their troops, they needed to make Hitler believe the attack was coming somewhere else. Montague and Cholmondeley devised a daring plan codenamed Operation Mincemeat. What if they dropped a dead body off the coast of Spain carrying fake strategic documents, making it look like a plane crash victim? Chapter 3. Creating a Ghost. To make the deception work, the corpse needed a complete, airtight backstory. The Nazis were meticulous. If a single detail seemed off, the entire ruse would collapse. First, the body. They acquired the body of Glinder Michael, a 31-year-old homeless man who had died from swallowing rat poison. Because there were no obvious physical signs of poison, a coroner could easily mistake the cause of death for drowning and hypothermia. Next, the identity. Michael was transformed into Major William Martin of the Royal Marines. Finally, building a life, or pocket litter. To make Major Martin feel real, agents stuffed his pockets with personal items. A photograph of his fictional fiancée, Pam. Passionate love letters written by a female MI5 clerk. A receipt for an engagement ring from a London jeweler. Stubs from a London theater show, a letter from his father, and an unpaid overdraft notice from his bank. And inside the briefcase, decoy documents casually mentioning that the Allied buildup in the Mediterranean was meant for an attack on Greece, not Sicily. Chapter 4. The Drop and the Trap. In late April 1943, Major Martin's body was packed in dry ice inside a specially designed steel canister and loaded onto the submarine HMS Seraph. Under the cover of night, the submarine surfaced off the coast of Huelva, Spain. The crew recited the Psalm 39 prayer, gently pushed the body into the tide, and melted away into the Atlantic. When the Nazi high command read the intercepted documents, they fell for the trick completely. Hitler was so convinced by the intelligence that he ordered one reserve panzer division, 14 army divisions, and over 100 aircraft to be transferred from France and the Soviet Union to Greece and Sardinia. He left Sicily relatively undefended. The aftermath. On July 10, 1943, the Allies launched Operation Husky, the invasion of Sicily. The Germans were caught entirely off guard. Expecting the real blow to hit Greece, they took weeks to reposition their forces. As a result, the Allies conquered Sicily far faster, and with significantly fewer casualties than anticipated. The trick was so effective that even 2 weeks after Allied troops landed in Sicily, Hitler still believed it was a feint and kept thousands of troops stationed in Greece. Glyndor Michael, a man who lived a tragic, forgotten life in London, was buried with full military honors in Huelva, Spain, under the name Major William Martin. Today, his tombstone bears both his real name and the honorary title that helped turn the tide of World War II.